Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to you, wherever you're at. I'm Marty Mangello, president of the Rotary Club of Global Impact, number 224228, for a couple more days. For a couple more days. And I'm going to go on ahead and bring in the stream from over with everybody on Google Meet, which is, for the time being, this has been our main audio feed and video feed for StreamYard. We have right now with us Ritu Chopra from New Jersey, Dr. Pauline Crawford from Las Vegas, Anab Ali from Virginia, Desiree Richardson is with us from London, Juan Farah is with us from Kuala Lumpur, and I know Patty from New York said she'll be just a couple of minutes late. Thank you to everybody for joining us, whether it's today, later, another hour, or even on Saturday. We often say just pop in anytime you're ready, anytime you feel like this is the club to belong to, where you don't have to come to a meeting. Feel free to boycott our meetings. We actually don't care. So we are not built all around meetings and being at an appointed time and place. And with that, I would just like to encourage the philosophy of asynchronous meetings. I am moving more towards these on a daily basis. Right now, we're having a synchronous meeting, which is synchronized. All humans are on at the same time. I am moving more towards encouraging people that want to speak with me. Hey, let's set up a time. Hey, let's synergize on the phone. Hey, when can we jump on a call together? I like to put a voice with the face. I'm getting between 20 and 60 of these per week. So what I'm doing is asynchronously meeting with people, and we'll talk with them and encourage them. Just begin talking with your throat with me asynchronously in a meeting, in WhatsApp, in whatever utility, Telegram, Signal. Go on ahead and say what you have to say. I will respond. We will talk interactively back and forth. We're also doing this with video, asynchronous video meetings. We have members in huge groups, one thought process at a time. They will record a video. People will answer it with a video so that you get the face to face. You can see the body reactions. You can hear the tone and inflection. I'm highly encouraging people to think beyond everything you were taught and know, and embrace asynchronous audio and video meetings. You will see you can get a lot more done. And Calendly is pretty much, almost gone out the window. And these pinpoint times where we have to all be on and talk to get any work done. So I'd like to now turn it over to our new president coming into office July 1st, Dr. Pauline Crawford. Dr. Pauline.
Good morning. Good afternoon. It's good to see you all. Thank you for that, Marty. I'm not totally clear what you're talking about, but it's wonderful anyway. I think whatever it is, it's a blessing. It's my birthday today, so I don't really mind what happens. And that's all I'm going to say. We're all a blessing. I'm loving to see Farah, who is my beautiful student, graduate, top star student in Malaysia. Yay!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pauline. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, that was so uplifting. Thank you, choir.
Whoa! A lot of confetti flying across the screen.
Yeah, I think the word for today is blessing, and we're all blessings, especially women, because we're going to hear from Ritu about her amazing study of women in leadership and her book. I'm really excited, looking forward to hearing all that information and excitement. So it's good that you're surrounded by women, Marty, on this call.
I know. We're so lucky. And Dr. Pauline, we have another lady that joined. So I know we are at 64% lady members. So we're going to go up maybe all closer to 70 now. And Agata Smolorek, the attorney from Poland, also has asked me, could she join?
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Yeah, we'll go up even higher. We're still let me see, with Carolina, she would be I think she's Hispanic from Chile. She's not a displaced person living there. So our minority inclusion might go up from 57% higher also.
Well, excellent. But it's all about connections and connectivity and being in that conversation. So excellent. I look forward to meeting her.
Yeah, and Pauline, could you give the group a brief today on what's going on with your business and the opportunities for corporations to hire you and bring you on board?
Well, there's a mixture of the corporate interest, but also the international interest with Africa. So I'm working with the honorary consulate for Côte d'Ivoire here in Las Vegas, and we're putting together some very interesting global connections with Ghana and all of Africa. So that's really exciting. And what I'm looking for is I want top men to shift their viewpoint on how we manage the corporate world, because I think it's falling apart a bit in terms of understanding women, which is very appropriate for what we're going to do today. And I was just reading a major piece on LinkedIn about it's another big company that really doesn't know how to manage women. That was Uber. So that was the latest story on the blog, that they really are getting things wrong. We need to get things right. So I'm looking for working with top men who are willing to step into a new space of understanding authentic harmony and synergy, and everything about going forward into a new future. So I think we've got to keep an eye on things, ladies, women, girls, I can call you everything. And you guys, like Marty, you are there to open the doors to these other men who are still refusing to understand what we're all about, because we're so beautiful and multifaceted. We are so creative. We just cannot waste half of the world. So my mission is joint custody of the world. And I think this is what we're doing in our club. We love the guys and we love the girls, and we love the synergy and authentic harmony that we're developing. But we need to talk about it to the rest of the world.
Absolutely. And your offerings for corporations, Pauline, can for some of the new folks, can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, it's a very interesting. It is about knowledge, but it's also about the experience of being together. So it's more about the experience of how we create conversations with each other. The kind of companies that I believe are doing it right, like Virgin and Patagonia, the ones that we hear about. So what I work with in organizations is to get people understanding each other, understand their gender dynamics, archetypes, understand how they can get into conversation together. But what's interesting is it's not training, it's experience. So it's actually the evolution of our conscious being with each other. So when I run programs, it's very exciting because people are expecting to be told, and actually you invite them to share. So it's a bit like what you're saying, Marty, about talking to people and getting face to face with people. That's really the magic. And also the bit I love most is getting people to understand their natural gifts, because everybody has natural gifts that they didn't learn at school and they didn't get with a credential. It's actually what is the essence of them. So those are the kind of programs. So I have two interesting programs. One is called Men of the Future Now, and the other is Women of Substance Today. And this combines into leading others to success. It's all about our ability to understand ourselves and all of those people who are not like me, because we are all unique and the same, all at the same time. That's the wonderful thing about human life. So that's what we do.
Is there a price range on those, Pauline, for corporations watching this later?
Yeah, they vary. I mean, with my VIP programs where I coach top people, it could be, there's a 6-month session, which is 3369, which, as you might know, is Tesla's magic numbers. I don't know whether everybody knows about Tesla's magic numbers. If you don't, Google Tesla. He was studying numbers and he said that 369 is the magic number, along with 11 and 22 and 33. These are numbers of the universe that make a difference. So my top VIP program, one-on-one, is
Can we write those down, Pauline? You said 3,
6, 9.
and then you said 11, 22.
11, 22. You know, a lot of the prime numbers, 11,
and
22.
33. Okay, I love 22.
Yeah. And all of those things, there's a rhythm in the universe, which is very mathematical. And as you might know, I'm a mathematician at heart. And the symbols, for instance, you know, the square and the circle, the straight line and the curve, this is what makes everything in our universe. So essentially, I would like, in my programs, I teach the cultures of the business to learn their own culture. You can't teach culture, but you can encourage an environment to design the roads. And I came across a really, really good example of that, where it was actually a female CEO and a male CTO who changed the whole of the culture of a business just by being honest and having honesty sessions and allowing people to be really sharing how they felt. And over a period of 2 years, they changed this organization completely, and everybody loves working there. And interesting enough, their business has expanded because their customers like them too.
Of course.
So that's my vision, is that whatever the cost, whether it's you know, a $10 million contract or it's a $1,000 contract, whoever the person in the frame is matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And Stormy's been a huge advocate with Society of Human Resource Management across the world. The breastfeeding stations are not allowed to be in a bathroom. That's actually against the law in the United States, but not every country. Has to be a separate place. And the nicer you make that, you know, you could say, well, we're going to have a whole room with a refrigerator in there, and we're going to paint it and let the ladies decide what they want for decorations and what else they would want in there. And I mean, you could go crazy with that. The same thing with the daycares. We have Green Heck Fans here from Wisconsin, has 3 massive facilities here in Shelby, North Carolina, nearby city. And they're building several $100,000 full daycare on site for all of their fan workers, you know, and building that into the plant and the factory in a safe location where just bring your kids, bring your infants to work. I mean, it's awesome.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
And when you go into these environments, I remember going into the Google buildings in Kuala Lumpur when I was there. It was amazing. It's all bright colors and comfy chairs and coffee stalls. There's no reason why life can't be in work and work can be in life. We need some separation. Some points we need to also understand the mechanics of business and I call it the mechanics of emotional engagement. You know, there's a way of being, and it's also about respecting everybody and their individuality.
That's right. You've got some help with what you're saying today coming up. We've been championing this ourselves, inclusion. I would just like to bring up to everybody the fact that Rotary is having the Champions of Inclusion, a celebration of diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. This is coming up on June 10th. If you would like to sign up for this and subscribe to Rotary, make sure you're on the official site here on YouTube, Rotary. And we do have presently 34,000 subscribers. So that's pretty good. Just come in there, subscribe here, and give them a thumbs up. I already have, but this is coming up June 10th. A big show live for Rotary. So this will be in 17 days. I might as well go on ahead and click here, notify me, put the notification on. That's good. It'll give me a reminder. And everybody that's interested in supporting what Pauline's talking about, you'll get a chance to see the Champions of Inclusion, which is a massive step forward for Rotary. Let's be honest, not everybody's thrilled about this. But big event coming up on the 10th. Next, I would like to switch over to President Frudenberg coming up for the year of 2024 to 2025. President Frudenberg, elect from New York.
How are you? I'm coming in from New York. Hi, I'm Patty, Secretary and upcoming President, following, of course, our one and only Pauline Crawford. And yeah, I was just writing down that to set that reminder. Also, are we doing any business yet, or are we going to do that at the end of the presentation?
I did warn Ritu that we're going to front load today's meeting with a little bit of business and a presentation from Jennifer Jones. But go ahead.
Sure.
What you got?
Sure. So welcome, Carolina. We got new member added. Our numbers are going up. We're coming up on our Paul Harris, fellows. Going to round up those numbers coming up also. We have prayers out for Dr. Miguel Rodriguez, getting some medical work done, and we're all keeping him in prayers. He will be working with me to finalize those Paul Harris officiation of members and donation of our member Fidos, which is so generous of him to match any member points. Also, we put out a vote there, Marty.
Oh, right. Thank you.
Yes, we have the vote out there. We want to close up on that vote because the 96 hours, I believe, was on Friday. And then as soon as we wrap that up, but we didn't want to confuse everybody. Then we're going to go ahead and put a vote out for the following years if people want to continue the Jennifer Award, which is in lieu of the Jennifer and all of us, the Jennifer Anderson, the Jennifer Jones, all those amazing Jennifers that have done so much in this world. And I'm not even sure if it's limited to just women, Marty, at this point, but it's definitely allowed to be voted on by men and women. And we're going to just start with step one, which is to see if we even want this award as part of our club. Just our club. It's a personalized award founded by our one and only president, Marty Mangello. And it's a beautiful sentiment, this award. So we're going to be coming up on that vote coming out. But we didn't put it out at the same time as the zone award rather, because I didn't want to have any confusion, Marty.
Yes.
So that's what we're doing now. And I'll hand it over to you so you could maybe talk about that.
Too many votes at one time is confusing. So the vote that was put out, if you haven't voted yet as a paying member, please vote. The bylaws require a minimum of 96 hours. But on this vote, we actually have a lot of time. So I'll just say, if everybody could get your ballot in by June 1st, this one is actually where the Rotary International bylaws provide that if there are 2 or more eligible past directors from any zone who have indicated to the General Secretary by 15 April that they wish to serve as a member of the nominating committee for Rotary International president, the member and alternate shall be elected by the clubs that are in that zone. And as you guys know, we are in zone 3334. If you don't have this ballot and you want Patty to send you the link again so you can vote, that's fine. So as club president, I actually have to put this out to the members, which is what I have done. It is illegal on this for me to vote for who I want to be on the nominating committee to vote for Rotary International president. This has to go out to the clubs, and in our zone 33 on Earth, that's the zone that we live inside of. Our district is 7680 in Charlotte, but our zone on Earth encompasses the Eastern Seaboard and much of the Caribbean. Okay. So we have districts 7280, 7305, 7360, 7545, 7570, 7600, 7610, 7620, 7630. You get the idea. Okay. I'm not going to keep reading all those off. But the people that went up for the vote, and with our membership right now, we are allowed to vote because we are a valid elector. And so the people that they have up, they did provide, and Patty sent us out the biographies. And I'll just say one is a lady from Columbia, South Carolina here. She's very distinguished in Rotary with a long career. The other is actually a gentleman. His name is Peter Kyle from up in the District of Columbia. The lady down here is Ann L. Matthews. Okay. So if you had not received that information, just check with the Global Secretariat, Patty, say, hey, I want to be part of that. I want to vote. And you will go on ahead and vote for who you want. And then I'm just going to tally them up. Patty always issues a tally. And I'm putting that in the members only right now, just in case you needed it again on WhatsApp. It's actually a link to both profiles. Just in a brief summary, Peter Kyle, he is in law. He's a member of Rotary Club of Capitol Hill. He's been a Rotarian since 1976. He's a former district governor and a former director for Rotary International. Ms. Ann Matthews is in education and management. She's a member of Rotary Club of Columbia East in South Carolina. She's been a Rotarian since 1989. She was a district governor. She's also been a trustee for the Rotary Foundation and a director for Rotary International. So once we get those votes done, we're going to tally them up, and then I'm going to transmit the vote for the club. And then that will make up the nominating committee. And this is how the zone directors work. If you ever wondered what it takes and how do they elect the president of Rotary for the world, it's all of the zone directors on earth who are voting for and that is driven from the nominating committee and how this all adds up and how it works. Any questions on what's going on with this vote? I didn't want to mansplain anybody or steamroll over anyone.
Oh, but I also do want to recap a little bit more if there's no questions on that we are also coming up to the end of the half of the year where invoices are going to be being shot out for June 1st. And anybody who joined at the tail end, you might be receiving two invoices back to back because you got an invoice for the prorated, which would be just a partial payment of maybe a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is when you joined midterm. And then on June 1st is the invoice for the 6 months upfront, no later than the 20th of June. So we're not in the rears.
Yep. And there's the bios. We should be able to see those there. As I mentioned, Peter Kyle. So this link is in the members only section. And then Ms. Ann Matthews is on the second page. So any question about what's going on with this vote across Earth? She's got a pretty long history. Peter just has the one page. Okay. All right, then, without further ado, I'm going to move ahead and just do our opening song, Smiles. And let's get started for today, gang. It's 11:24, and we're going to jump into having our guests come on, who luckily today is a Rotarian, a Ritu. So I did talk with her about just having a little bit of club business beforehand. And she said, yeah, you can get away with it because I'm a member. So we feel lucky today.
Where is all the good news? Where's the helping hand? Where are all the smiles I used to see? They gotta be here somewhere. I think I'll take a look around. Maybe try to find some harmony. All the love we used to know, just too hard to find. Giving in to feelings of despair. World we knew is upside down. Fears replacing love. It hurts. No one seems to care. There's a smile that says hello. Another says goodbye. One that promises I'm giving you my heart. I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are. The one that keeps us close when we're apart. Walking from the darkness of all that we've been through. It seems that there might be a way to leave behind the loneliness we've known and live again life of There's a smile that says hello, another says goodbye, one that promises I'm giving you my heart. I've seen a smile convey I love you, I'm proud of who you are, and one that keeps us close when we're apart. Maybe it was hard. I'm thinking we can have conversations that end with let's agree. We may be a little closer than we think to finding our way home. Finding our way to harmony. To the beauty and the joy of harmony.
Thank you guys so much for enjoying our club anthem. Thank you to Jimmy James. We're much closer than you might realize. And before we get going with our speaker today, whose book I have here, I will also mention I have one other book here by Dr. Pauline. These two wonderful ladies who have recently published their books. Could we now go on ahead and let's make sure that we have a chance to do the four-way test for the beginning of our meeting, and then we're going to welcome Ritu Chopra to the stage. And for the four-way test, I thought we'd go over and see Michigan, the four-way test at the Rotary Club of Lansing, Michigan. We can take a look at the four-way test and recite this ourselves. Patty, would you lead us in the recitation of this? 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yes. Is it the truth?
Yep.
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned?
That is the four-way test. Thank you so much, Patty. This is the Rotary Club of Lansing's website. And Ritu Chopra was kind enough to ask me if I would write something for her book. And I recently got her book in. So if you'd like to order it now, initially it was available just as an ebook, but it is available, and get a copy from Amazon. It's up live, and so is Pauline's book. This is not something easy to do, to publish a book, and it takes quite a bit. And then, a lot of people are doing just the ebook, but honestly, to get it in paperback like this is really the next big step. So Ritu is a technologist, executive coach, speaker, and an award-winning film producer. And a technologist by profession, she's an author, also a TV show host, an award-winning film producer, I mentioned, and an executive coach with more than 2 decades in IT operations in Fortune 500 companies. Ritu mentors and coaches emerging leaders to achieve their personal mastery. And I can tell you a fun fact that I recently discovered. We both have awards from the state of New Jersey, and she's proud to share with us some today. Without further ado, Ritu Chopra, welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin. Thank you all. Wherever you are joining, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Namaste. Okay. May I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. So please confirm if you are able to see the screen.
We got you. We got you.
All right. Okay. So I want to take just a very quick moment. Why did I write this book? I, as a corporate warrior, mostly being in IT, most often the only women on the all-male team, a fast-paced, high-stakes environment with all IT compliances. Every so often, the compliances, requirements, regulations, everything is changing so rapidly. And the technology which supports business is responsible for putting that into place into our systems the corporations use. So I found myself in a very unique situations and working with C-suite and being only women and only women of color being on the team. I had to really work through not only understanding the processes, but also people from every department in the company that we needed to work with. So it gave me very different perspectives on navigating myself. So I always thought of writing a strategy book for women leaders. What changed for me as this topic had become during the first few months of the lockdown, COVID lockdown, we all had opportunity to see the world in a very different light, which a tiny little invisible virus brought us on our knees. It was just an equalizer. It didn't matter which socioeconomic, which nation, culture you belong to, we all were impacted by it. I looked at a very powerful women around me and, how everyone was trying to make sense was adjusting to this unprepared situation that we were all in. And I found that the role of women, that which has been a dual role from the beginning of times, as we know, the women, the history of the mankind, or our civil history of our civilizations, but women were impacted most, losing their jobs, taking care of the family, homeschooling their children while working. There was just so much was happening, and my opportunity to look at my book and what I wanted to do totally changed. And this book, I proudly say, that is a holistic approach to leadership of women of all generations, creating and raising conscious leaders of tomorrow. So with that said, I want to move on to the next slide. So who I am, as Marty, you have introduced me. I wear many hats. I have been given so many different opportunities that I embraced, and I have become a very well-rounded person, as others like to say. And I'm very proud and humbled by the same opportunities that has been extended to me and what I have learned and become. And the many hats that I wear, the most important to me is the touch hearts and minds of the people around me and uplift them, because we are all somewhere broken inside, and we all need that kind of the touch that not only reminds us our shared humanity, but also the encouragement that those are just circumstances. They would phase out, they would pass away, and we are still the strong people somewhere inside, and that needs to come in front. So that's me. And just want to add that I was very pleasantly surprised a couple of days ago as I happened to find out that the book which was released on March 8th of 23, we made it number 8 in the business and economics and women in business in the print category. So I wanted to just share that. And the book has been also seen by more than 1,500 librarians and these media houses. So with that said, I move on to the big idea, as I just shared, why I wrote this book. So as a holistic approach to the leadership for women of all generation, I had looked at the history of women for going back maybe 200 years. So how the whole idea of women empowerment and what women struggles were. And with all that said, that it's just, the book is not just for women, it's for men and women. My main idea that started was, as mothers, we give birth to boys and girls. We raise boys and girls who grow up to be men and women. We're part of the family unit. We're part of the society. We're part of the community, and we are part of the workplace. So there is no separation. All of the gender wars and all that kind of personally bothers me. And I like to see that collaboration, and wherever those differences are, how do we come with the collaborative mindset and look at what challenges we face today and how to solve them. So with that, last couple of 100 years, 2 centuries of our journey and history so far. So from agriculture to aerospace, the women have made a lot of contribution. We're still not being acknowledged in many ways, but the things have changed quite a bit, especially with the social media and instant media in the palms of our hand. We have a lot of different power and access to knowledge. So, it just comes that way. So the power and persuasion, most people understand the power as authority or a right to be able to delegate or dictate or something. To me, power is very different. So, which I did talk about on my book, and I love this topic. So I can talk all day on just this topic only, but I'll continue. The charisma and adaptability of a leader of the 21st century. So, if we look at 50, 60 year mid century of say 1950s or so, there are millions of books on the leadership topics. There's so much valuable information that was so suitable at the time, what leadership qualities should be, and most of those qualities that are presented, and without making it as a gender issue, is mostly for like men, and men in power. They are seen as leaders, and leadership to me doesn't belong to a gender. Leadership are a set of qualities. There's no perfect definition for leadership. So it belongs to however we see it, and anyone can be a leader when they step up to the occasion and assume responsibility, accountability, and do what needs to be done in that moment. So the charisma and adaptability where I talk about is that leader has to be charismatic because leader has to have people follow. Leader has to have either their ideas, their values, their vision to be followed by others. And they need to adapt to the situation. It's not a definition or a checklist that you go by and then you call it yourself leader. The leaders in 1950s and leaders in 2023, they're all some traits that they are same, but there's so much is changing. So we need to be adaptable and charismatic at the same time. The beliefs, values, and future of the planet. So these are the 6 segments of the book. The beliefs and the values, the future. That's what we believe really shapes our ideas, and that's how we value what we believe in, and how does that translate our beliefs and values to the future of the planet. as we going towards the mid-century of this is United Nations World Economic Forum, they predict the kind of challenges humanity would face. So I talk about them a lot. And the management strategies, tools, and technologies, this is an area we are in a fourth industrial revolution, and we are in an integrated platforms globally, tapping into the global workforce with the artificial intelligence taking over our personal and our business lives. The types of tools and technologies are in place. There's no going back. We're living technology. So it's a double-edged sword. So there's two sides of the technology. So how do we utilize to the best human civilization and for the benefit of our future and benefit of our lives, planet, etc., etc. So that's kind of segues into the future of the organization and shared vision given in the circular economies and fourth industrial revolution, um, uh, looking at the global diversity, global health, um, uh, and all of that comes in with that. How do we look at as Earth as a family, shared vision, not just for our nations, our communities, but for human race. So those were kind of ideas where I see that women play a great role uniting as the center of the family, women as raising our children and grandchildren. We're more connected. And we have the ability to connect in such a way. And I want to tap into the power of that connectivity. How do we bring in that values in raising conscious leaders of tomorrow? So that was the 6 segments of the book, and then I talk about the premise. Which is going into these segments is the successes and challenges so far, and identifying our main issues that we are facing today, which are not the cyber threats only or equal pay, etc. We have more than that hasn't gone away, which is the generational mindset. And we need to acknowledge the problems first and issues first in order to discuss that. So as Pauline had mentioned, a few things as a harmony and kind of tapping on and piggybacking similar thoughts are that we need to look at that how do we come together? How do we address that as not as taking it as a uh, conflict, but come in and collaborate and open up a dialogue. In a crisis unity is different for every stage, every generation, not just for women, but men also. We're part of the society. What baby boomer generation had issues, that was a different era. And as we see, as the younger generation entering workforce, their challenges are very different. Some things are in common, but as a collective society, how do we address them? How do we prepare our next generation? The gap analysis, power dynamics kind of taps in, as I mentioned, into power and persuasion. Power is not an authority. So we need to see that how do we bring in that kind of charisma to talk about conflicts, talk about issues, and create those dialogue in an amicable way and find solution. The couple of things that I have highlighted here is the broken promises of equivalence. It's sad to say that in the 21st century, third decade of the 21st century, women are still fighting for right of equality. It's a topic for itself. But we need to kind of pay attention that, and we need to set it aside. We need to understand that women contribute 50% into the GDP, into the economies, and the income of their families, the wealth of the nations and the families. So why should we be fighting for the right of equality? And I think we need to come in terms with we're human beings. It's not a gender issue. It's everyone needs to be treated with that kind of equality. The 7 guiding principles, those are kind of cornerstones that I talk about that we need to look at as the building blocks of having these open dialogues. And, as you go into the book, that you will be able to see more around that. The roles we individual must play, is critical. I find that my personal beliefs and thoughts are that planet and global or national issues are not for any international organization or government or corporation to solve. It's our planet. These are our lives. We must take charge and play a role into designing those. And actively, first we need to understand those. Because the change begins with each one of us. I want to mention something here that's kind of a very small example, but it's really powerful. The first week of May was, I apologize for that, not remembering the correct date, maybe May 4th, 2022, New Jersey had banned single-use plastic. So this year, at the first year anniversary, I learned that there were 8.2 million tons of plastic was prevented to go into the system. So that is like one state where collectively, due to this mandate, the action was taken, and look at the results a year later. And if we look at collectively to United States, North America, rest of the world, even the small changes where individuals start taking part, makes a huge difference. And we need to bring in our conscious efforts to it, because the more sustainable future awaits for us. And that universal awareness of the humanity must be our common goal. As we say that as I say that creating those conscious leaders, the current generation and all levels of society, we all have a role to play. I personally know a lot of baby boomer generation women, powerful women of the baby boomer generation, they're going into retirement, and they're taking valuable experience with them. And somehow during COVID, when I decided to write this book, and I wanted to tap into the power of those women, that who, if we don't utilize, as they are in their retirement, we don't utilize their valuable experience, expertise, that they can mentor others and pass the baton for younger generation to carry the torch. So how do we create that? So that's kind of led me into a lot of the topics that I bring in this book here. So understanding those leadership at every level for all generation and creating that sustainable planet, as I keep talking about it, is as a first we have to accept the situations where they are, not what they were 50 years ago, but at the moment, and acknowledge those what circumstances we are in. Here in North America, our circumstances could be different than the African continent or Asia or other parts of the world. So we acknowledge where we are, what are the critical, dire issues that we're facing for that part of the world, and how can we support from the knowledge and wisdom or talent that we have to help other people to find ways, not only collaborate with them but support them in whatever ways that could be, as Rotary does fundraising to help people in need, communities in need. So the ways can be so many. However, people can come together and do that. That's the need of the moment. And appreciate the thought leadership. So that is my goal, is that leadership doesn't belong to a title, or leadership doesn't belong to a gender. Leadership is a set of qualities. Anybody who assumes those set of responses, has the set of qualities, talents, and assumes the responsibility at the moment, we need to appreciate that and bring them on forward, because the collective consciousness and a shared vision, as bringing that, empowering women. A empowered woman empowers the entire family, and we should not discount that at all, because women, the emotional nature, the way our DNA, our nature has made us, we connect, and tapping into that power and empowering women is empowering our generations, empowering our entire families and our communities. So with that said, I just want to share, this is a call to action. And if people out there want to join, I have shared the Facebook group. This would be for volunteers that will be trained for if they want to take up either environment or mentoring youth, etc. So we'll train them so they can touch communities and people around them wherever they are. So we give them the tools and knowledge. So that's we'll welcome you if you are interested in. And here are, you can connect with us, and if you need more information, please reach out. And I thank you for giving me this opportunity and platform to be with you today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ritu. Any questions out there for Ritu? Questions about her new book, how long it took, challenges that she faced. Any questions for Ritu?
I'll jump in there, Ritu. You brought to mind, you brought to attention to, rather, adaptive challenges. So where do you see yourself right now? Like, what are you're presently filling in the gaps? Are you more focused in just, you named a few different lines there, but are you maybe focused more on one right now, maybe with youth? I mean, I love the idea of, because it's about the younger generation, like you were speaking on. So are you right now working on a project with youth, or any particular gap that you are working right now, hands-on?
Thank you, Patty. I think my immediate goal is to work with corporations, where most of the corporation right now, they say that we have 6th generation in workplace. So that's an ideal place, right? So we have baby boomers to Gen Zers. So the 6th generation, every generation brings a unique qualities and unique challenges. The baby boomer generation that would exit workforce within
say hi to everybody?
few years.
Okay.
So that is that ton of experience, knowledge, wisdom. And if they go into the retirements, where the younger generation growing up in nuclear families with the devices, with artificial intelligence, they need that wisdom. They need that. So I want to work with corporations first to bring in those types of strategies. As Pauline was saying earlier, that it's a communication, right? It's not a workshop. Similarly, it's a dialogue. For me, it's a dialogue to work with them. How do we create those masterminds within the corporations where they touch all generation at one place?
Awesome. And anybody else before I go to the next question? I just wanted to say, nice thing about Ritu's book is, you'll notice it's often full color charts You don't often see color all throughout a book. She has full color charts in there.
That's good.
So
I have
Marty just showed that shows kind of all different generational talents, the traits, etc. So it's just that our younger generation, because the environment that they have been raised and grown up, so we should not take against them. Then young people are this and that. They're brilliant young people, but they are growing up into nuclear families or with the devices. And they are, when I speak to them, they welcome that if somebody would mentor them.
I agree, and I love your presentation, Ritu. I think we have to have open conversations between generations for sure, because listening to young kids is what we need to do. We can't. I mean, our rote education has not been the right way. So changing education, opening the mindset, getting to listen to them, and that's happening across the world. That's what I'm focused on. That we encourage the new generation of entrepreneurs and business people, then we might have a chance.
Absolutely. I mentioned a couple weeks back that my grandson and we had other children for Mother's Day playing on the carpet in the living room. And one of the toys they play with is the little green army women. So that was a dynamic to watch these children today in society in 2023 playing with little green army women, and that there aren't just the bucket or the bag with the green army men in there any longer. So these kids don't actually know any difference. They've got dinosaurs out there, Lincoln Logs. They're having a battle with the dinosaurs, but they're moving the little plastic pieces around. This was something that we pushed BMC Toy Company in Scranton, Pennsylvania, to develop, issue, cast the dies and the molds to start selling little green army women. And these kids, they don't know any difference whatsoever. They're not preconditioned to men in the military.
If I may, Martin, I want to just kind of a thought came to me when I was doing my research for the book. I had spoken to a corporate anthropologist, and we had a lively conversation. And she mentioned that the younger generation, which is the Gen Zers, they're gender blind. And I kind of was taken back with the thought first. And then we had such an interesting conversation after that younger generation is gender blind. So we need to learn from them. So it's not that we always teach youngers. We learn so much back from them. So we, as Pauline, you mentioned that we need to open those dialogues with the younger generation.
Yeah.
And that's why I say that women of all generation, it doesn't take a corporate title to become a leader, to become a mentor. You could be at any generation.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. Well, was there any other questions today? If not, I'm going to go to Jennifer Jones and wrap up.
Thank you.
Any old business that somebody wanted to discuss?
I want to highlight it just coming up on May 27th, which is Saturday. I just want to highlight, our club for the success. That was the first successful grant for Ukraine, with much more that followed behind it. So congratulations to the success of being able to facilitate those beautiful grants for the Ukraine and all the other beautiful things we did. But it is coming up on the anniversary, so that is old news, and I just wanted to celebrate that.
Anybody for new business? Financial report, then I'll move into. We did have a deposit of about $47.11. Yesterday, cleared through Bank of America. Our balance is still just over $2,000. That was from the prorated dues of Carolina Marino from down in Chile, joining us from the beautiful country of Chile. And so we will have bills coming up that everybody knows about, of course, for DAC-DB and also for the website. Those are natural bills, a couple $100 each that DAC-DB charges every club who's with DAC-DB. And DAC-DB is evolving and getting better. They have had a number of upgrades recently, and they're not sitting around waiting for, some dinosaur software with club management. They're managing hundreds of thousands of members. We have the luxury today of hearing from Jennifer Jones, meeting with another powerful lady for the Commonwealth. And I think everybody may or may not know this woman. She's quite amazing to see, like, the role that she is in for the Commonwealth of Nations. And this was called Impact in Action with Jennifer Jones in Conversation. So let me make sure everybody can see this. This was just released a few days ago by our president, Jennifer Jones, the first lady president in history. We're already up to 1,500 views. So please come in here and like this also. She is going to speak with Inger Anderson now. Let me put this on for everybody.
The UN Environment Program headquarters, joined by the Executive Director, Inger Anderson. We're going to have a chance today to talk a little bit about the role of service in civil society through the lens of the environment. Inger, thank you so much for having us here on your beautiful campus.
It's wonderful to have you, Jennifer, and the entire Rotary family. You are most welcome.
Thank you so much. So we have so much that we're going to be able to dive into, but a big question: what are some of the main environmental concerns right now that certainly you're working on and that we as a world need to be focused on?
Well, in UNEP, the United Nations Environment Program, which is the UN's body that deals with environment and science around it and the policy recommendations that countries need to adhere to, we speak about a triple planetary crisis. The crisis of climate change, which everyone understands, I think, because we're seeing it not just in the newspapers, in our lives right now, but also the crisis of nature loss, biodiversity loss. We're sitting in this very amazing place in Nairobi, Kenya, but nature is disappearing before our very eyes. And so working with that. And the third crisis, pollution and waste. We are polluting, we are wasting, and that is causing an impact on the environment. So these three things are critical, and this is kind of the core of what we work with. We work on science and how that science can be implemented in policy spaces and on the ground.
And a lot of work to do, isn't there?
A lot of work to do, which is why it's great to have partners such as Rotary,
Exactly.
of course, and many others that are helping make that lift at the community level and at the global level.
Well, and so much of it is what our Rotary family is already passionate about, especially with younger members in our organization. The environment is, for young thinkers, we all think that way. The UN General Assembly recently declared a healthy community as a right, a human right for everyone. Why is that important?
There are these rights that we have, right to life, right to a house, and a right to education. These rights that we have assumed were just ours to be, right to peace. So they are enshrined in the Human Rights Charter. But when the Charter was created, there wasn't really, the right to a clean and healthy and sustainable environment was not a concern that the average citizen had on this world, because we were still living in relatively better balance with nature and with our environment. But now this has been agreed. So yes, it doesn't mean that immediately all countries have a law that says it, but what it does mean is that there's sort of a sense that this is now globally, universally accepted.
It is. Our members are very passionate about the environment, as I said, and the grant structure that we have, building in environmental protection and measurement and impact measures is critically important to us to be able to do that. How do you see that in parallel with the work of this organization?
I'm so glad that you said that, and that is part and parcel of your work, because look, while the primary work that you do, I expect, is for betterment of community lives and people's lives. But as we are beginning to see it, a community is healthy when its environment is healthy. And so tracking that, many times you can track a thing like childhood dysentery or diarrhea, and you can track it right back to pollution of the waterway, right? So there is an inherent connection and an indivisibility between a community health, well-being, happiness, and an environment's health, well-being, and happiness, if you like. And of course, the Sustainable Development Goals that we approved as a global community back in 2015, these goals these 17 goals are also indivisible. So in a way, an environment is woven right into them. So in a way, that's how I think the work that you do and the work that we do at the United Nations is very much in sync in this way.
What I love about this is that it's not just it's a massive undertaking, but it can be done by one person.
Absolutely.
Each person adds up to big, lasting change.
Exactly. And I think this is sort of our message to the world, really. No, this is not something that nothing will happen if I don't take action. Everything happens if we take action. We have choices that we make in everything that we do, you know, the way we consume, the way we live, the way we travel, where we choose to work, how we interact with our colleagues in our churches, mosques, and synagogues, how we engage with a broader understanding of environment. If we sort of carry that with us without being preachy, of course, but just living those values, actually we can reduce, actually we can reuse, actually we can recycle, and actually we can lighten the footprint that we as humanity have on this earth and that we must have as we prepare grow our food and have our industry and our infrastructure. We understand that, but we can do that while also protecting the environment. And this is where I'm so very pleased that we are having this opportunity for collaboration with Rotary International.
I cannot thank you enough for the wonderful opportunity to have this conversation, for our members to be able to hear from you, and for the partnership that we have together and the ability for us jointly to be able to move things forward on our planet. It really, truly is an honor. And I thank you so much for your leadership.
It's my pleasure. And thank you for this collaboration, Jennifer. It's a great pleasure from our side as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone for watching today. It has been a wonderful opportunity to be able to hear from Inger Anderson and to learn a little bit more about what we can all do to make our planet a stronger place.
Well, there you have Inger Anderson. We won't have time today to watch the Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland, KC, but I have put the link into the chat. So if you click on that, it'll preload in your computer and you can watch her interview this powerful lady. And it was a very, very good interview about the things that she's been through. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great one and catch you in 2 weeks. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, everybody, we have had another fantastic Rotary meeting. Thank you so much. And the Rotary Club of Global Impact does welcome you to join us. Welcome to our newest members, and especially Carolina Larino of Chile. And also we have Agata Smolarek of Poland is asking about joining us, and many others. We hope that you have a great day and finish out this month of May with kind thoughts on your mind. And here is a thank you video from Phoenix Foundation, our partner in Ukraine.
Наші партнери, компанія Rotary, відправили чимало гуманітарної допомоги. Тепер справа за нами. Фонд Фенікс Груп готує до відправки допомогу туди, де вона потрібна, туди, де на неї чекають. Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Забуваємо до, зараз ми всі інші. У нас одне на всіх серцебиття. Склалися у пісню всі найкращі вірші. Таке життя, сирена укриття. Мамо, не питай, чому далеко твій син зараз. Ми живемо так, як заповів колись дід Тарас. Борімось, поборемо і все буде в нас гаразд. Тільки не питай снився багатьом, мабуть, до біди. От би нам піти вірним шляхом, Боже, проведи. Вистачить загоїть рани всі.